Hejsa. I'm back from the Festival of Quilts, and I thought I would share a little bit about my experience, both just seeing the quilts and also having my own quilts there. But first I thought maybe you want to see what I bought. Not that I think I bought loads compared to some people I saw. They had like little wheelie suitcases, which I assume was full of fabrics and whatnot. So these are actually the first thing I bought, which are for, at least most of them, will be used in a particular project that I'm working on. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I'm working on making a replica, or as close as I can get it, of the quilt that is in Phil's bedroom in the film Groundhog Day. So that's what most of these ones are for. Next up, these ones. These three are also from for that Groundhog Day quilt project, and I may use this one for it as well, although it feels a bit more modern than these ones. I'm not going to use just, I don't know, like feed sack fabrics for or designs for that quilt, but I want something that at least feels a little bit sort of vintagey. Yeah. And these two will also be used in that project. And this one, I bought this because I like the colors. Maybe not the black on it, but the greens are really nice. And I actually had this fabric scrap with me to festival because I thought I might just maybe find something similar. And I don't know where I got the scrap from or how long I've had it, but I now know that it's actually in Nigerian. And there were a few stands that sold, I think these ones are from Ghana, so fabrics from Africa. These are wax print fabrics. And I went in there and said, look, I know it's a long shot, do you have anything similar to this? They didn't really. The closest was this one with these funky birds on them, and this one, but I hadn't realized that when I open it up it's actually more blue than green, but that's fine, I don't like it anyway. And then at a different stand I found this, where I really liked the yellow and pink together, but I hadn't realized that it was actually a piece with 4 different prints on it, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I didn't find anything like this. I didn't think I would, but you never know until you look. But I quite like this. Not sure that this will be used in the Groundhog Day quilt. I think that would be more florals than this sort of thing. And in an unplanned purchase, but how could I resist this neon pink gingham with the flowers on it? And this was from a stand that had like Japanese prints, really cute. But I restrained myself, only bought these 3. I got a few more that are also for the Groundhog Day quilt, which feel sort of I haven't checked if there are any sewages, but they feel more sort of 30s reproduction prints. Maybe not the purple one, but it's fine. I bought a few of these scraps from Alice Caroline. Just couldn't stand. I just couldn't. What's the word? Resist. I couldn't resist a bit of liberty. And then the last thing. So I went to, I think it's called Japan Craft. I wanted to look at the sashiko threads, which, as you can see, I bought some. But then I also was very tempted by their fabrics. And this is not something that I would think, oh, I really need some fabrics like this. But then when I saw them in person, I guess they just had to come home with me. They're really pretty. I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but that's okay. Actually, these ones, I don't know if you can see it, but these three have got some gold metallic print on them. That might be fun to use for a bag or something. And I might use this in a Groundhog Day quilt. Going to a place like Festival of Quilts, one of the fun things is stumbling across these things that you wouldn't necessarily think to look for or find in many places. Like, you can buy tulip pink and K-facet fabrics anywhere online, but this sort of thing is probably harder to find. Right, so this is what I bought. It was a really nice experience being at the Festival of Quilts, although it's just completely overwhelming as well. So there's a few people I knew or didn't know was going to be there, but ran into them and we had a nice chat. And one of my friends had a gallery there with her quilts. If you were at Festival of Quilts, you probably saw it, Jo Avery. So it's nice to catch up with her just for a moment, because she was so busy. So that was nice to see. And I got to say hello to her sister as well. So I had 2 quilts at the festival. And I was there Saturday and Sunday, so I stayed on after the festival finished on the Sunday so that I could pick up my quilts. And what I didn't know was you were also giving the little placards with the name of the quilt and the designer and all that stuff. So that was quite fun. So this one, the floating broken circles quilt, I entered into the competition not expecting to win it at all. But I just thought that it would be fun to get these comments about it. I guess you get 3 different judges' comments about it. And they're more or less what I thought they would be. Sort of good, satisfactory for various things, good, satisfactory, and 1 excellent. And they all sort of mention that it's a nice contrast between the quilt design and the quilting. It's quilted in a grid on the diagonal. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this. No surprises really. And then there's the other one, the one that I for short call my protest quilt. I think I mentioned before that I was a little bit nervous about the reaction to that quilt, but I think most of it was good. I've had people message me on Instagram saying that they were really moved by it and that it sort of stayed with them all day. And also they have given me secondhand reactions of people they heard reacting to it, and most of that was good as well. And I kept sort of going back to the quilt just to see if I could hear what people were saying about it. But a lot of the time they weren't really saying anything. Maybe because a lot of the people there seem to be wandering around on their own. So obviously they're not gonna just blurt out what they think. But I did observe a lot of standing and looking at it, and I guess reading it and taking it in, which I'll take as a positive. I did also hear a couple of things, and I wrote them down on my phone just so I wouldn't forget, because I thought it was a bit funny. So one was, it was a provocative message. One grumpy lady said, "Quilting has no place for that." Well, I disagree. Nice one. Someone's got a chip on their shoulder. And then making a political statement on a quilt, that's one way to get out the angst. That was sort of a conversation between the three old ladies. And I'm not 100% sure that it was positively meant. But whatever. At least there weren't people shouting at the quilt. At least not that I observed. So yeah, that was my Festival of Quilts experience. I probably won't go back next year, but I hope that I'll be back a bit sooner than. So the previous and the first time that I went was in 2015. I hope it won't be another 10 years before I go again, but who knows. I didn't record any of the shopping area of the festival. I feel like a bit of a twit when I'm recording in public, or at least when I'm recording the public. I don't really want to just put people on YouTube if they haven't agreed to it, unless they're sort of, I don't know, in the background. I did do a little bit of some of the quilt displays and also some of the individual quilts. So I'm going to put this here at the end, and you can have a little look at some of the quilts if you want there. It's just some of my favorites, or just some that I picked at random. So I hope you enjoyed taking a little look at that, and I hope you enjoyed this little video of my festival experience. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, whatever you're making.